Somebody requested for me to make a video about why I think Days Gone is going to be amazing, and God of War, and Spider-Man. So I guess we'll start off with Days Gone. Days Gone, on the surface, I guess it would appear that it's just a open world version of The Last of Us, which to me is not entirely a bad concept if I don't say so myself. However, the reality is, if you watched all of the behind the scenes or interviews or articles about Days Gone, and more specifically the gentleman that is actually creating the game and who also was the mastermind behind Siphon Filter, which is, one of my all-time favorites from back in the day. Some of it's connecting dots, right? Some of it is just flat out what they've talked about. So yes, 100% they talked about how The Last of Us was a huge inspiration to them. However, what I think they were able to accomplish was, or what I'm hoping, I should say, is that you're going to see more of a Dying Light aspect, in the sense of like how you're going to loot, going in and out of shops or run down buildings, vehicles, that sort of thing, like we've already seen in some of the gameplay trailers, where you're going to be looking for whether something like accessories for your weapons, or maybe body armor, or vanity, whatever you may have it, medical supplies for healing. It's going to have real-time crafting, which is awesome. And then on top of that, or let me back up. So if The Last of Us had, like, I love the concept of crafting and all that, but the loot system was really sparse, because there was only a few things you could go through, like drawers and stuff like that. A lot of it was just laying on the ground. And once I played Dying Light, I was like, this is really cool. It really made me feel like you were more or less on set with The Walking Dead, because I believe when Dying Light came out, when I played it at least, we were watching The Walking Dead, one of the more recent Walking Dead seasons, live, and I liked how they were scrummaging through houses in both the game and on the show, so that was really cool. So I hope not only The Last of Us Part 2 does that as well, but we've already kind of seen evidence of Days Gone having that. I think it's also really cool at Days Gone that they're taking a lot of the elements from Siphon Filter with gadgetry, right? So the little homemade bombs he's making to destruct the environment, to get him in and or out of hairy situations, be it with human AI or the freaker AI, or aka the zombies, right? Bear Hugger 29 had talked about how it's, just on the surface it's just an open world zombie shooter, and they added a horde mode that's interlaced into the campaign. That's from a 20,000 foot view. That's exactly what the game is, right? Or at least what we know of it so far. However, the way I look at it is the intricacies of how all that can play out potentially. The fact that the game is based on a dynamic system is really intriguing to me from a gameplay standpoint. So, when Bear Hugger says things like it's not going to have any replay value, while I understand it, I would disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because I feel like, The Last of Us, for instance, is super linear, and so I played that 8 times over because of how dynamic the AI is, the enemy AI, and how you can, put one of them or put different AI against one another, or just trying to traverse the map in a way that you didn't ever do before, to see how the AI will react to that, or how they will respond to whatever action you do. So that sort of thing is going to be even more expansive in Days Gone. And the fact that the human AI, can set traps for you throughout the world dynamically is going to be awesome. So in the new E3 trailer, we got to see the clothesline. Well, that's just one of many, many, many traps that they can lay down. And that's extremely exciting to me, on how that will play out. Like, just think about it from this standpoint, right? So you found some loot and you died for whatever reason. The horde got you, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna go back and get the loot. And then, so you're going back over there, and now a horde shows up, and you're like, shit. So you run in there, you get your loot, right? You get a scope, a new scope for your rifle. So you're trying to run away. There's the hordes coming after you. And by the way, there's different sizes hordes. You have the massive ones that are like several hundred, up to 1,000 is what they've already said. And then you have some that are like 20, 30, 40, 50 that are easy, it's a little bit more manageable. So that's really cool, which that's a whole nother thing in itself that we can talk about, but I'm not going to dive into that yet. But so anyway, you get your loot and you're trying to get away from this. Let's just say it's a medium-sized horde, and so you're running back to your motorcycle. Which, by the way, your motorcycle is your loadout. So you have to pick and choose what you're going to take with you before each encounter with the missions, which I think could be really cool. That's from a strategic standpoint, especially if you're going into like a human camp or whatever. That's really cool. That's part of the replay value. But you're trying to get back to your bike. You get back to your bike and you start hauling ass trying to get away from them, right? Well, if the humans spotted you at some point, they can actually set up a trap. Who knows what the traps are going to be? But like, let's just say it's clothesline, right? We've already seen that. So you get clothesline. Now you're all fucked up. The humans are trying to rush in on you, and you got a horde coming in. So how are the AI going to react to the horde coming on top of you being there? Like, that's just chaos. Not to mention, they talked about how if you paid attention to the E3 trailer, you lured that guy away from his group and you put a bear trap down, right? And that guy gets trapped and gets caught by it, and he starts making a lot of noise. Well, on the behind the scenes demo, his friends, the human AI's friends, actually shoot him in the head because he wouldn't shut up screaming, and there was a horde nearby. Like, that is badass. So like, just the amount of playthrough just by playing with the AI in the game, to me, is all the replay value you need when it comes to Days Gone. I'm going to stop this video because I got to make sure I stay within 15 minutes. That's as much as I can do to upload from my phone. So I might be back. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So I got about 10 more minutes before this video will be maxed out for upload. I apologize. So anyway, back on to Days Gone. To touch more on the siphon filter aspects, right? With siphon filter, the replay value for me anyway, growing up, was the fact that they had dynamic bullet damage. So like, if you shot a dude in a knee, his leg would kick out, from where you got shot at, and blood would squirt out. And like, that right there, and I know I'm weird about that, I'm different, but that sort of dynamic bullet damage is just extremely fun to me, and I can play that over and over again. It's kind of like with Horizon. The first time I was running from not Thunderjaw, what's that thing called? The little tiger thing. Anyway, he was running after me. We were going down a hill, and I turned around and did the slow motion bow shot. I went for his head because his head was down low by his paws. Well, as soon as I let go of the bow or released the arrow, his head raised up, and so I accidentally shot his foot, and so his foot kicked back. But that was a foot that was about to grab the ground to lunge forward at me. So he ended up falling on his face, sliding past me, and then doing a roll because we were on a downward hill, right? That sort of thing is like, the detail within that is what I love in games. And so whenever a game they focus on that sort of thing, I really, really love going back and playing with that mechanic alone. And again, with Horizon, it was like you could pinpoint accuracy, thread the needle. So if you wanted to shoot in between one machine's legs and then hit a specific area of another machine behind them, and you had that good angle from wherever it was you were at, you could do so. In a lot of games, there's almost like a gravitational pull or a wall, an invisible wall around the body, to where if you try to shoot in between two people or whatever, or a building or whatever, it would just like stick. It won't actually go through, and that's really annoying to me. But like, Horizon, that's one of the things that they did, and it was layered damage, and I thought that was really awesome. And I have a feeling, based on the footage that we've seen so far with Days Gone, you're going to have similar mechanics, and so that the replay value is there for that reason. And who knows, with the story, maybe there's dialogue trees or decisions you have to make that you could play it over again to get different outcomes. I don't know. So when it comes to Days Gone, those are some of the things I'm really excited about. And to go back on Siphon Filter one more time, in Siphon Filter you had a lot of gadgets to play with, and in this game, because we're 10, 15 years in advance now, or modern times, they're going to have a lot more gadgetry to play with, on top of the fact that you're creating the gadgets. and they've already talked about how you can modify your weapons in ways that are just insane, the amount of accessories and the way you can craft different things to do different stuff, to where like you and your friend might not ever make the same two guns, right? So that's really cool. So there's replay value in that, and depending on the gadget you get to make, my God, there's so many, in conjunction with the AI patterns and the dynamic traps that they lay, and the horde modes, and how the horde mode is going to be just insane. It's just going to cause mad chaos, and that to me is where all the replay values are. And I'll touch real quickly on God of War. The game is there's not a whole lot I can say about it. If you're a fan of the series, they took highlights of all the stuff they loved about God of War, and then they kept those, but then they knew that the overall system needed overhaul because it was dying. After Ascension, it was pretty much dead, so they had to kind of start from scratch, but they kept a lot of the things that made God of War great. So hopefully they do a really good job of that. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, I'm a huge fan. If you're not a huge fan of the series, then it may be a hit or miss. And then with Spider-Man, that game's just going to be legit. I don't even, just the way everything's based on physics, and so you can, the replay value is going to be in how you just beat the shit out of people. I don't, other than that, I just think that's the replay value, is the gameplay itself, in the same way that I kind of described Days Gone. It's going to be a blast just to fuck people up royally in different ways in that game. And swinging through New York is just going to be a lot of fun and mindless to a certain degree, in the same way that Infamous Second Son is really fun to play with, or play whenever you're in a party chat, just bullshit with your friends. Spider-Man will be the same way, just swinging through the city and just trying new shit, like parkouring, that would be a lot of fun in itself, for as far as replay value is concerned. So let me hear it, Barrett. Let me hear what you guys say, and shit all over Days Gone some more. It's fine. I want to hear it.